Welcome to Kikao, your weekly authoritative program on Africa's agriculture. My name is Joe Ageyo. This week we focus on a subject that evokes fear in some people, but in others, opportunities. We are talking about genetically modified organisms or products better known as GMOs. Why are they so controversial in parts of Africa? And what ought the continent to do with them? We'll be hearing from our eminent panel in just a few moments, but first, here is the scene setter.
People tend to shy away from new technologies, come with lots of excuses. Today you'll hear that, oh, I'm a Puritan, okay? I'm a very religious person. I don't understand the dynamics. Where is it going to take us? People still have nightmares. Have people failed from sleeping? Don't people sleep? If you want to get rid of nightmares, don't sleep then. For how long are we going to have these sentiments without us addressing it?
Let's now get some real answers to the many questions that people ask around the continent from our eminent panel of experts. And for this, we join Dr. Canisius Kanangire, the Executive Director of AATF.
Thank you, Joe. For many years, humans have used traditional breeding methods such as selective breeding and crossbreeding to get desirable traits in plants and animals. But scientists are constantly developing new ways to create new varieties of crops and animals. Genetically modified organisms, or GMOs, have become a common term consumers and popular media use to describe foods that have been created through genetic engineering. The release of GM products starting in the 90s was followed by an onslaught of information from varied sources about the relative merits and demerits of the technology. Newer to the agricultural biotechnology space is gene editing, adding yet another term and even more complexity to a field already brimming with misperceptions and misinformation. As these technologies become more widespread, so too does the necessity of understanding them in detail so that decisions can be informed by truth and not manipulated by fear. So, what exactly are GMOs? How widespread are their use around the world? Are they safe? Are they needed and useful? On this episode of Kikao series, we will seek to demystify GMOs, their regulation and application in improving agricultural productivity. I am your host, Dr. Canisius Kanangire, Executive Director of AATF, and my guests today are Dr. Roy Mugira, Acting CEO, National Biosafety Authority, Kenya, and Professor Mohamed Ishaku, Executive Director and CEO, Institute for Agricultural Research, Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria, Nigeria. You are welcome, sirs.
Thank you very much
Thank you.
for having me.
And thank you for hosting us.
The terms, let me start with this. The term GMOs have been on every lips in Africa, elsewhere, for many years, for 2 decades almost. What is, in simple terms, GMO? What does it mean? For the common citizen, what is it, GMO?
GMOs are varieties of crops and animals that have been developed by adding to them characters that are not found amongst their relatives, but are taken outside their relatives in order to improve their productivity and the services they can offer to humans.
Yeah.
I could put an example which may now put into context what Prof has said. In traditional breeding that you have mentioned, you are able to move genes from one organism to another through crossing. This can only happen between the same organism, maize to maize. It became possible to move genes from unrelated. So what breeders have always done is to cross one parent with another in the hope that the offspring will carry the good character from here and the good character from here. That takes a long time because it is also dependent on chance. It became possible for scientists after DNA was sequenced to pick very specific gene and move it into the crop or plant of interest. And therefore, it became possible even to move across species so that you can pick a gene from a carrot and put it in rice, to make rice produce vitamin A, and therefore have what we have been referring to as golden rice. So this rice, therefore, that carries a gene from an unrelated relative, as Prof has put it, is what is called a GMO.
Yeah. So that is how it is produced, a GMO.
Yes.
But what is it that we, ordinary people, should know about a GMO product? For example, that you talked about golden rice.
Golden rice.
You can talk of this yellow maize or something like. What should we know about that in simple terms, we common citizens of this world?
We should know that GMOs are not any different from any improved variety or strain of animals developed, except that they have gotten an increased capacity to provide for humans services such as resistance to drought, resistance to disease, increase in the number, in the quantity of sugar produced or oil produced in the plant and so on. And that we need to know that they are not any different from that which we have been using before, except for the additional advantage that they can provide more for the farmer and also for the consumer for his own benefit.
So because the fear, let me bring what I hear from outside. It is not safe for environment. It is not safe for human consumption. Now, let me bring that question to you. Is GMO product safe for the environment and safe for human consumption?
Good, thank you. To put it in a bracket, that all are safe, all are safe for the environment and health may be a bit misleading. But it is useful to pick an example and also to check on what are the measures that are taken to ensure safety. The global community, after realizing that possibility, asked the same question. Is this now safe for my health, for the health of the animals, for the environment? And therefore, the international community negotiated a protocol that would govern how do we manage this new technology. And that is the Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety, which is anchored under the Convention on Biological Diversity. And basically, this addresses safety, which is what you have put through. So individual state parties, countries now went and did their laws and established their institutions, like the Biosafety Authority that I had in Kenya, to ensure and assure safety. Now, let's deal with an example so that it becomes clear.
Yes.
We have just approved BT cotton in Kenya. This is cotton that is genetically modified to resist the cotton bollworm, the worm that destroys cotton.
Yes.
Now, BT, we need also to say what that one is. Probably it is coming later in our discussion, but a lot of people think it is biotech cotton. That is not the case. It is derived from a bacteria that is resident in the soil called Bacillus thuringiensis. Now, what happened, if we go even, we also have BT maize, which is coming up, which has also been commercialized elsewhere, including Nigeria. Farmers realized that their maize is getting destroyed by the stalk borer. So they would scoop some soil and put on the funnels of the maize. It helped. So then scientists asked, what is it in the soil that is bringing this? The first suspicion was that is suffocation. So the borers are being suffocated inside the funnel and therefore they die. But when they examined, they saw, no, this death is not just suffocation. There must be something. And that is when scientists now identified a bacteria in the soil, the Bacillus thuringiensis, and therefore BT. That produces a protein which is the one that is responsible for the deaths that were being observed. Now they went a step further, established this is the protein, a step further, and established the gene that makes this protein. Now they said, why don't we put this gene in maize, in cotton, in cowpea, so that the maize can make that protein itself.
Yes.
And fight and protect itself. So that is why the gene was cut from the bacteria onto the maize, onto the cotton, onto the cowpea, and therefore making them resistant to this very specific group of insects called the Lepidopteran larvae. So I'm coming to the safety. When this is being done, we check at the research stage, the proof of concept, even before it becomes possible to do this outside. We check it at the confined field trials. We check it at the performance trials outside. Then we say, this is safe. So we cannot say in a blanket statement that they are either safe or not safe. We treat it on a case-by-case basis. For the case of BT protein, for example, it has been tested to check whether it is allergenic, causing allergy, whether it is toxic to humans, to animals. It is not even toxic to other insects, the bees, and it is also not even toxic to the moth, who is the mother of the borer. That is where now science comes in, very, very specific. Within the larvae of the stem borer and also the bollworm, they are very specific receptors.
Yeah, fantastic. That is very good. I think we understand now the technology itself and the BT idea of it. I think we will take a short break, and then when we come, we say, okay, the technology is safe. It is safe for the environment. It is safe for the consumption. It is even safe for animal consumption.
Yes.
So why is it then that we are still hesitant to adopt it and protect our farmers against all those worms and other pests that are devastating the field?